Hello, and thank you for joining me for this workshop on managing emotions during time of political upheaval. I'm glad that you could be here today. The point of offering the workshop in this asynchronous format is to hopefully make it a little bit more accessible for you. We know generally that student schedules are really busy, and so I'm really glad that you are taking the time to be with me today in this format. And so I just wanted to give a little bit of a note and introduction to the exercise that we will be doing today. This, as the title implies, is about how to manage emotions during a challenging time for our political climate. And I want to preemptively say that there are many positive things that we can do during this moment. I by no means am suggesting inaction. It is possible to organize, to volunteer, to donate. I think there are all sorts of ways that we can engage both individually and in community. But I do know that there are times where it is not possible, at least in the moment, for us to interface or engage with what is going on in the world in a way that feels productive. I think oftentimes many of us are experiencing feelings of anger or frustration, sadness, and grief. I think what is going on in our political climate is eliciting a lot of strong emotions for many of the members of our community. And the goal of this workshop today is to give you a way of better interfacing with those emotions, of managing them in moments where maybe you just need a way to kind of get through the day or to get through the hour. This is not in place of other positive things that we can do. I don't want to suggest that it is not possible for us to take actions in ways that can help ourselves, one another, and our communities. So that being said, I am going to be leading us in a, 5 to 8 minute exercise today. This is a guided meditation of sorts. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about how after this meditation, you might be able to use what we explore helpfully in your day-to-day life. And you can, of course, return to this workshop should you find this meditation, this guided exercise useful, but I think it also has implications for you in the day to day after this. So, what I'd like for you to do is just take a couple of seconds to make sure that you are in a comfortable environment. Generally, you can do this seated. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. If you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes during this meditation, that's totally okay. I would just encourage you to adopt a soft gaze, not focusing on anything in particular. Some folks, if you're in a space where you can lie down, you can do that as well. Just whatever is going to make you feel most comfortable. So if you need to pause the video at this point in time and take a couple of moments to do that, to settle in, to make sure that you're in a physically comfortable spot that is safe where you won't be interrupted for the next number of minutes, I would encourage you to do that now. And so what I would like for you to do is if you're in a seated position, maybe just allowing your feet to rest on the floor. And we're just going to take a couple of moments to center ourselves. And so, what I'd like you to do is to take 3 rounds of deep breathing, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, just like this. And just taking 2 more rounds of deep breath at your own pace, maybe allowing one of these to be the deepest breath that you have taken all day. And whenever you have completed your third and final exhalation, you can allow the rhythm of your breath to return to normal. No need to breathe in any particular or special way. If your eyes are not already closed, maybe allowing your eyes just to gently close in this moment. And we are just going to take a little bit of time here to check in with how we're doing in our inner mental and emotional world. And sometimes this is quite busy, and there are lots of thoughts and feelings that are present. For the purposes of our exercise today, if there is not something, if there aren't thoughts or feelings present, that's okay. I would encourage you maybe to call to mind some of the emotions that you might experience while following any political coverage or just generally kind of being aware of what is happening in our nation and in our world. And just taking a few seconds to get a sense of what is going on internally. And so, what I'd like you to do is see if you can pick out one of those thoughts or feelings or sensations, maybe one that's a little bit louder or more prominent than the others. And this can be anything. Again, it can be a thought, it could be a feeling, an emotion, or a physical sensation in the body. Moving forward in this exercise, I'm just going to be referring to this as a sensation, just generally speaking, and see if you can identify just one of these for now to focus on. And what I'd like you to do is see if you can get a little bit more familiar with whatever the sensation is that you've picked. Maybe it resides somewhere physically in the body. Maybe it has an image associated with it, a shape, a color, a silhouette. Maybe it's more clear than that. Just taking another couple seconds to get more familiar with whatever it is that you have focused on. And what we're going to do in this exercise is just practice making a little bit of space for whatever sensation you have decided to work on today. And so, what I'd like you to do is to see if you can extend just a little bit of curiosity, just a little bit of compassion, if that's possible, towards the sensation. And you might imagine yourself just inside, either saying something to the sensation, maybe asking it how it is or how it's doing. You might imagine extending to it a little bit of curiosity in the form of some warmth. Some folks like to imagine a beam of white light extending to themselves from themselves to the sensation that they've selected. And I just want you to see if the sensation is able to take this in, how it is responding to the curiosity, towards the compassion that you are sending its way. And maybe it's really able to take this in. Maybe it really appreciates what you're offering. Maybe in this moment it feels a little bit wary. Maybe it's not sure if it can trust what you're offering it. And that's okay too. Just kind of noticing what's going on. And so just taking another few seconds to do this, extending whatever curiosity, compassion, just being aware of whatever the sensation is and seeing how it is able to respond. And finally, as we begin to come to the end of our brief exercise today, I'd like you to see if you can extend some gratitude towards the sensation, maybe thanking it for being present, for allowing us to work with it in this way. And again, just as you did with the curiosity and the compassion, extending this gratitude, this thanks towards the sensation, and just seeing if you can notice how the sensation is taking in that gratitude, how it's able to respond. And you can maybe now let go of any need to pay attention to the internal world, maybe beginning to notice any sounds, ambient sounds in the environment around you, bringing some small motion back into the hands or feet, gently transitioning into the present. And you can allow your eyes to open whenever you feel ready to do so. And so I'm going to spend just a couple more minutes talking with you about the implication that this exercise can have in the day to day. There are times where we experience quite strong emotions, thoughts, sensations, many times that are not pleasant. I think strong emotions of anger and grief and sadness are oftentimes difficult for us to hold on to. But what we believe, one of the things we practice in this sort of mindful awareness, or that I will talk about when I'm meeting with folks in therapy, is that the emotion or sensation generally wants what's best for us. If we're feeling angry or frightened, it's our body, our mind's way of having us pay attention to something that feels really important, even if maybe that thing isn't actionable in the moment. And oftentimes our instinct is to shove these feelings down or to push them away because they're a little bit hard to deal with. And what I hope you were able to practice in our guided meditation today is just a technique for making a little bit more space for that. Seeing if practicing some compassion towards our emotional mental responses can maybe create a little bit more spaciousness, maybe give us just a little bit more room. And the technique that I will offer you that you can practice in the days or weeks ahead is if there was an image that came to mind, or even if it was just a physical sensation, when you notice that coming up again and being really prominent, maybe seeing if you can extend a little bit of awareness, just a little bit of curiosity, and kind of see what that does. Some folks, I offer a cue for some people that really like the visualization part of this is if there's, an image of the sensation, a little creature, maybe imagining it just perched on your shoulder and just gently offering it a hand to let it know that you see it, that you understand that it's concerned, that it wants to make sure that you're paying attention to whatever it's drawing your awareness to. And maybe just allowing yourself to take a mindful breath. And again, we're not trying to get rid of our emotions or our thoughts. I think it's really understandable that with the current political climate, we're experiencing lots of different feelings and thoughts, many of them quite intensely. But I hope that this might be a technique, or if you want to return to this guided practice, that can be helpful to you. And if you are looking for more support, please reach out to us at Santa Clara CAPS. I would encourage you just to Google CAPS Santa Clara, find our webpage with our phone number and our information. I'm one of our therapists in residence here at Santa Clara University, and one of the services that I provide to our student body are our check-in sessions. And these are appointments that you can make online through your student health portal on your scu.edu login page. Go to your health portal tile, and if you look under appointments, if you are a student that lives in on-campus housing, you can make an appointment with myself or any of the other therapists in residence, and these appointments are available up to 2 hours before the scheduled time spot. So they're not quite walk-in appointments, but they are intended to be available same day or next day. I'm happy to talk about any other options, or if you just need a one-off conversation with a therapist from additional support, those are some ways that you can reach out to us. And so I hope that this exercise could provide some benefit to you today and into the days and weeks ahead. And I hope that you're able to take care of yourself. And if you can, someone else as well.